Jason Abraham, the Shadow Teacher, and as the higher consciousness in me, the Christ consciousness, has been waking up, one of the powers, if you will, that I've been noticing is the ability to communicate in a direct way to wild animals, to plants, to rocks. And I remember a few years ago, one of my favorite holistic health masters, Paul Chek, he made a video, and I believe it's on his YouTube channel, and I believe it's entitled How to Communicate with Plants, Animals, Rocks, something like that. And I watched it, and it fascinated me. At that time, I knew I enjoyed being out in nature. I felt healing in nature, and I could feel a connection with it, but my signal was still muddy. I wasn't able to fully interpret the information it was giving me, and so I was fascinated again about continuing that path, but that time wasn't clear on how to clear my own stuff that's getting in the way. But again, after a year of sun meditation, sun gazing, breath work, and being very committed to that practice and sincere about it, and I'm not saying this is the only thing involved here, what I found is when I go out, I can sit in and I can feel just these frequencies calling to me. It's just like turning a dial on a radio. Once your dial tunes in with what you're communicating with, then you're there. And my totem animal, one of my totem animals, is the hawk. And they are a wild animal, an apex predator. But they allow me to be very close to them. They allow me in their physical proximity, and they allow me in their energetic field, and they speak to me. They share with me, they guide me, and we speak with each other. And what I've found, and you're about to hear a disruption in that field. Here it goes. That's okay. I'm going to keep going because it's going to get quiet. Field's going to get disrupted, and then the beauty of nature is going to come back. As I was saying, with a hawk, with a wild animal, if you're communicating with a wild animal and you want to speak with a wild animal the way you do a domestic animal, what you're going to notice is they're going to run away from you. They're not going to want anything to do with you because you're trying to force your language onto them, but you have no receptivity to them. You're not respecting their place as a sovereign being. You're trying to control them. You are trying to get them essentially to submit to your tiny belief of what they should be. They don't want to be pet. They don't want to be filmed. If you come, they don't want to sit. They don't want to roll over. You know, again, talking in terms of dogs, even though like we're talking about a hawk, but any kind of wild animal. But if you respect them as sovereign beings that are living their life path, and you come and approach them in a space of reverence, you might find they allow you to stay. I've had this with deer too. I'll sit there, they might look up and notice me, and if my frequency's tuned in correctly with them, they'll just go about their business. And they might say hello. They might say thank you. Thank you for letting us be. And again, the hawk, which is a special spirit animal to me, they actually give me revelations regarding my path. They provide synchronicities, but it's all from that understanding. And sometimes I've filmed them just to put them up on Instagram, and you can tell they get pissed off with that. They'll squawk or they'll fly away because there's, you know, they're okay communicating to me in that space, but they don't want to be filmed. But again, I do it because I'm here to, I respect them, but it's about telling the greater story and opening up a greater perspective for humanity. And they're cool with that. It's just like me though. There are days where I just don't want to be fucked with, and if you knock on my door, then I might not be too happy seeing you. But there's a meditation, a prayer in the Essene Gospel of Peace, Book 2. And it essentially comes down to be still and know that I am God. And it goes into this one phrase, be still. I am in the mountains, I am in the trees, be still and know that I am God. And the idea is that God is in everything and is everywhere. And when you can be still and tap into that universal frequency, then you opened up your field of awareness to greater communication, greater relation. And again, the Christ title, becoming one with all that is. We all have that in us. And again, when you build a relationship with that spirit, the Christ spirit, and that relationship continues to grow and get deeper, this opens you up. And once again, I will say, your perspective changes. Your old perspective of wanting to control and own, that's just not going to fly. You will not be able to access the ability to engage your consciousness in something beyond your physical form if you stay in an old level of consciousness, in a lower level of consciousness. You have to allow the expansion to be. And I'm just going to sit with that today. I'm going to enjoy the serenade of the birds, and I'll see you on the other side. Class dismissed.